colors. Summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love, remember when we were getting nowhere fast, when the garden won't stop giving back honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen, all the colors. Summer love.
Hi friends, long time no see. I'm, as you can see, out here in the garden, and today I wanted to share with you a early summer garden tour. It is the Tuesday after the first day of summer solstice, and everything is looking really great, really lush. It's coming along really nicely, but it's just wild and wonderful, and I can't wait to bring you along and show you everything that I'm growing this year. But first, I don't have very many followers on here yet, but I wanted to let you know a little bit about why I've taken the break that I have. So grab your mint and lemon water, or a cup of tea, or a cup of coffee, or a glass of wine, whenever you're watching this, and just spend a little bit of cozy time with me while I kind of go over why I took a break. At the beginning of April this year, my grandpa, who was almost 89, he would have been 89 this August, lost his battle. It was a very brief battle. It wasn't even a battle, really. He was diagnosed, and within a few, 2 months, he was gone. We lost him on April 4th, and it was it was a big blow to our family. You know, obviously he had lived a really long and beautiful life, and it was just really hard to see him deteriorate in that way. But he was able to do hospice at home, and when he died, he was surrounded by most of his children, and then me and my brother and my husband were there as well. And it was, I've never experienced that before, and so it was, I don't want to, I wouldn't say beautiful, because obviously I would have loved for him to just be alert and be talking and, you know, have that be the last visit instead of him quietly passing in his sleep while we were all standing around him. But I felt super grateful to be there and to witness his last moments, and just, I do feel like he felt our presence. And it was just, I don't know, it was very peaceful, and a beautiful end to such an extraordinary and beautiful life that he built with my grandma, who passed away quite a while ago. She passed away when I was 14. And but yeah, and then so that was really hard. And then less than 2 weeks later, on the 16th of April, we tragically and unexpectedly lost my dad. And I was so happy that my grandpa didn't have to, like, be alive for the death of another child, because he had already lost one. My uncle died back in, like, 2009. But it was so, after I found out, because I didn't find out till the day after, it was very tragic. And I just obviously didn't feel like picking up a camera or doing anything with socials or anything. It's been very hard, and being in my garden has been the only place where this whole time where I felt completely at ease and stress-free, and it's the place that I feel, or being outside in general is the place that I feel closest to him. I feel like I'm able to talk to him and feel him and feel his presence, but it still is super raw. It's been just over 2 months, and I just still can't believe that this is my life now. Like, I never, obviously, you probably don't think about, like, what your life will be like with, like, after your parents or whatever. But it just feels unreal. So unreal. And I feel it. I feel his loss every day. And especially in the moments where I'm like, oh, I wish I could tell my dad about that, or I wish I could text him a picture of this beautiful flower, or I wish I could just hug him one more time. And I was really close with my dad. He was not, like, more than a father, you know. He was like one of my best friends, and we talked every day. So not having that has made me feel like, I don't want to say lost, because I have the anchor of my marriage and my mom and my brother and my friends and my family, but I just still feel kind of adrift. And so I've been trying to work through it, and people have told me that they feel like I'm dealing with it in a good way, or like it seems like I'm coming through it, but you know, I am struggling every day. It's easy to put on a face for people, because it's like, obviously it's not a subject that I want to discuss all the time, and yeah, this just real life. Like, I miss him every day. I cry at least once a day. It's not full on sobs every day like it used to be, but I still cry every day. And like, the face that I put on for people is not, it's not to like be fake or like make people feel a certain way. It really is for me to, like, it's like an avoidance tactic to, like, kind of avoid talking about my pain. And yeah. But up till this point, you know, I haven't felt like doing much of anything. But I want to get back to creating, or being creative, and being creative with my YouTube channel, or being creative on my blog. And so this is the start. I'm not holding myself to a strict schedule. I'm hopefully going to be sticking to a once a week video, once on every Sunday. And if I film more, then maybe I'll add a video every week as well. But I just want to go easy and just ease into it, and I just want to honor my dad, and I know that he wouldn't want me to. Sorry about that. If you can hear trucks or anything, we have a road back behind, like a little ways behind our house, and there's been helicopters too today. So anyway, I know my dad would not want me to just sit and mope and not do things that spark joy, and being creative and being out in my garden and doing things like that really do bring me joy. And so to honor him, I want to start picking my camera back up and planning blog posts and writing. But yeah, I want to get back to being creative and doing things that I love to do. And I think my neighbor's about to start mowing the lawn, so I feel like it's a great time to get the garden tour started. It's the busy season for us gardeners, so I've been up to a lot in the garden, and I hope that you really enjoy it. And yeah, let me know what you think. So I thought instead of starting on the patio, this time we'd start over here in the raised bed garden. I have my second batch of radish coming in. They probably need to be thinned, but I'm just letting them go. It was such a good radish harvest earlier this year, and so I'm just letting these guys do. I did a little bit of chaos gardening. I didn't really do regular rows, so that's why it looks very full. I've got a volunteer nasturtium coming up, which I love, and then 2 rows of carrots here, and then back behind I've got some peppers. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it looks like I think all 3 of them are sweet banana, and then I planted some basil in among those. And then it's been such a good year for lettuce for me too. I've got all of this beautiful red sails, and then there's a little bit of butter crunch, and it looks like they've been really getting munched by slugs. But that's okay, as long as they're not, I feel like maybe that's like I'm using the butter crunch as a trap crop, and then my red sails lettuce just looks beautiful. And then I, for the first time, put some chamomile direct in the raised beds, and I've loved it, except I'm having a really bad aphid problem with this plant. And I've been trying some Dawn dish soap, which has helped. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it has helped. But there are quite a few. Yeah, let me see if it'll focus. Probably not on that. But yeah, right. I don't want to touch it. On this guy, there's a ton. Anyway, it looks beautiful, and I loved it, and I'll probably do this every year now. And then down here, I've got my regular English thyme. I've planted some more lemon thyme down here. There's a little zinnia. I had flowers that I started, and I didn't have a ton of places, so I just popped them wherever. So the lemon thyme, variegated oregano there, like always. My little chive, that's a volunteer chive plant. More beautiful red sails lettuce. I believe this is a calla lily, and I've tried to dig it up. I can't find the bulb, but it comes up every year, and it looks beautiful. And then I really need to get these heads of lettuce picked so that my spring onions can have some air. And then some red basil, which I love. And then there's a tomato here and a tomato here. This year I have 16 tomato plants. And I don't know if earlier this year when I was filming that I said I was really going to try and like be ruthless and only have like 2 of every type of tomato. Well, I have 16 plants this year. That is way more than I was anticipating, and I definitely do not have 8 varieties of tomatoes that I'm growing. Let me see if I can figure out what these ones are. I have, let's see, these ones. This one is a beefsteak, and I believe this one is either a San Marzano or a Roma. And I'm also doing an ox heart variety, which is the first time I'm doing that, and I'm really excited. They look really cool. I'm doing my regular like sweetie cherry tomatoes and sun golds this year. So several varieties. So beefsteak, ox heart, Italian Roma, San Marzano, sun gold, and sweet cherry. So I guess that's 6. So that's almost 2 of each plant, but there's a few extra. And I just didn't have the heart to throw them away. I have some little marigolds down there. I want to do like kind of go get like a lot of my flower seeds and do like kind of a little mix and like sprinkle them around different places, like maybe even in this area under the tree, and see if I can get anything going under there. Because this really is a bare spot. I planted a hosta back there and it's doing great, but it just gets so much weeds, and so maybe if I can plant something beautiful in there, it would help. I don't know. These daylilies are from my dad's yard back in Covington, from my childhood home that I dug up when he moved a few years ago. And they love this spot, and I love having them there. And then we're trying to turn this way, this wild patch. So this is a bunch of bolting cilantro that is finally putting on its flowers. So beautiful, and I love keeping up because the pollinators just love these flowers. And then I've got another batch of chamomile over here, and then there's a little nasturtium starting down here, a cosmo that I put in, some basil, there's some dill behind these very tall tomatoes, and some more butter crunch lettuce, which I really want to harvest. There's like 5 heads back there, and it's time to get those. I've got a little zinnia back here, but hopefully will take off more once I chop this all down after the flowers are spent. I have plenty of cilantro seed, never had a problem with it, so I don't really need it, but I'll just leave it for now for the pollinators. And then down here, as you saw when I first started the video, my lovely little mint pot is doing very well, and I've been trying to like harvest some every few days so that it'll keep coming. And then that's another lemon thyme that's actually survived, and it feels root bound, so I'm going to try and get it out and loosen up the roots and then put some new compost in there, see how that does. My oregano, another English thyme, and I believe this is winter savory, but it thrives in summer, so I'm not sure why it's called winter savory. I bought it at a garden center, so, but it's looking a little woody, so we might be winding down on this plant in the next few years and maybe replacing it with something else. I've got leeks over here, and then a bunch of tomatoes in this area. And then this year, instead of doing pole beans, I decided to do bush beans. So these are purple beans on this side, and then green beans on this side. And I need to keep an eye on these because it looks like they're getting munched more than these purple ones. And then I've just planted some various like little marigolds in there. Basil, there's a zinnia there's a zinnia, it's right here, and I probably should support it because it's flopping over a little, but yeah, it's beautiful and wild in here. I've got these new pole sets to make the taller tomato cages for my indeterminate varieties. And as you can see, I have purple ones from years past, and so I will let you know how I like these. The tomato cages aren't cutting it for me, and so hopefully these will do really well. And then for the first time this year, I'm doing sweet potatoes. My cousin gave me 6 slips, and so I decided to do them in grow bags. These ones aren't doing as well as those, and so I kind of moved these more into the sun. They were kind of under this fuchsia, so I just wanted to give them a chance by giving them some more sun exposure. But yeah, they're looking super lush, and I'm very, very excited to see if we can get some beautiful sweet potatoes this year. And then over here, I'm trying to I weeded it and I put some ground soil on, but I'm trying to make it look nicer. This hosta is gorgeous, and our beautiful fern under this wild and wonderful wisteria plant. I threw some zinnias in here, but this is probably one of those areas where I'll just sprinkle some like a mixture of seeds and see what I can grow. These irises put on a beautiful show this spring, and then I have a beautiful bleeding heart back there that hopefully comes back next year. It did not look as great as it did in years past. I have a hellebore here next to my beautiful fuchsia. The hellebore did great this year. It was so gorgeous, and next year I'm going to go get more. And then over here, this used to be all weeds, and so instead of sitting there trying to rip them out, I laid cardboard down, laid some ground garden soil on, and I got a bunch of spring bulbs like daffodils. So hopefully this next year, this little area will be so cute. And it looks like I'm actually going to be getting my first flowers on this poor little hydrangea that's been taken over by this guy. I have to figure out how to cut him back more. I want to give him more space, and so we'll see. But this way, if any weeds come up, it's really easy now to pick them. And it looks like I just need to cut these back. These are also perennials, and I think they're adorable. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what this corner looks like next spring. And then something fun, this year I really wanted to bring more whimsy to the garden, and so I did this really cute little bee installation back in, it was either the beginning of very beginning of April before my dad died, or late March. And I will leave the blog post link below, but I just love it when I come out here. It just brings a smile to my face. And so I'm trying to think of what I can do here and here on this side of the fence, just to make it feel more magical. I've got some lilies coming in over here. These iris, they do okay. This is like a very shaded spot, so I'm not sure it's the greatest place for the iris. I have to do some more research for sure, because I love iris. I feel like they're the most underrated flower. But I really want this area to be just as beautiful as well. So then we're gonna come out here. My rosemary plant in this pot is doing great. I need to add some more compost to the top. When my dad died, one of his friends got my brother this rhododendron. Well, his yard isn't very big, so I have to figure out a place for it. I've also got a dogwood tree that she got me, and I need to figure out a place for that. But for now, it's good, and I actually redid this whole area. This was a lot of grass, and so I went through and I turned everything over. I turned the sod over, and then I covered it with cardboard, and then covered it with this in-ground garden soil, and I haven't really had a ton of problem with weeds so far, so if I keep on it, I think I should be okay. And then I planted a bunch of daffodil bulbs, which looks like something's been digging in there, so I'll need to get in there, cover those up. I put some cosmos here, 2 little bean plants. It's kind of struggling. I don't feel like there's a ton of nutrients over here. So I probably should come in with some compost on top, just to give it a little bit of zhuzh. There's a sunflower here, some sunflowers there. This beautiful lilies come up. My chive plant is thriving. And then one of my 3 blueberry bushes is looking so good. It's so loaded with berries. I don't know if you can see from here, but is it going to focus? There we go. Yeah, we've got a ton coming, and I'm so excited for that. And then walking over here, this is my little pumpkin patch, and I kind of went very overboard with pumpkins this year, but I had really good success last year with the types that I grew, so I wanted to expand. And unfortunately, some of them were like in pots too long, and after my dad died, I even I let things go a little too long with these, but these ones are doing really great. So let me see if I can remember the varieties. These are jack-o'-lanterns. This is a sugar pie pumpkin, and I've got one in a pot. Hopefully I can get the seed to sprout. I've been having a little bit of difficulty, and so I'm starting it over on the patio, and I'll show you that in a little bit. It hasn't sprouted yet, but I only planted it a few days ago. There's a zinnia here. I put a sunflower back here. I'm pretty sure that's a mammoth sunflower. I'm very excited for it. And then these are honey nut squash. The original plants died, so I direct sowed some, and so I'm really excited to try that. I've never had a honey nut squash before. There's a zinnia here. There's a sunflowers there. This is a black beauty zucchini. This is a fairy tale pumpkin. Let's see what we have here. All my labels have faded. So this is a black cat pumpkin. I believe both of these are, and maybe even that one. And the flesh is orange, but the outside is like almost black. It's like a dark green, and it's so cool looking, and I'm so excited. This fairy tale pumpkin I direct sowed. This one never came up, so I'm trying it again in a pot on the patio so I can transplant. This is a Cinderella pumpkin. I believe that is a Cinderella pumpkin as well. I'm also starting another one of those on the patio. They're just kind of stunted. This is these 1, 2, 3, I believe, are Casperita. They're little white pumpkins. And then over here I've got 2 Jack B. Little pumpkins, which are the small orange pumpkins that I planted last year and loved. They did so well. And then I'm so sorry, but you missed the big beautiful red lily show. They're just now turning over, but before it was just filled with these beautiful red lilies that have been here since we moved in. And then I know that I've talked about this before, but this iris is one from my dad's yard in Covington, my childhood home, and I always was like, oh, it's not doing anything, maybe I need to move it. This year, right after he died, is the first year that they bloomed, and they're beautiful purple. And I don't know, I was looking for signs, and I felt like he gave me one, and they were just beautiful, put on a beautiful show, and I love having them here. And then there's also these daylilies that love it back here. Those are from his yard as well. And then my beautiful hollyhock has its first blooms, which is so exciting. They're so beautiful. And then back here on the wall, I'm not sure how good they'll do. I just threw in a bunch of zinnias that I had, started and went a little too long. They all look very leggy. And then my beautiful lavender here. I put in a zinnia here. There's some more around this way, and there's some there. Not doing great, but I have to try. I really want to be able to utilize up here. I feel like I might put some hostas up here. I really probably should rake the leaves, but then I feel like I'm gonna have a really big problem with weeds if I do that, so haven't figured out what I want to do, but I will. But yeah, everything's looking good over here, and I'm really excited to bring you along to see what pumpkins do great, what pumpkins don't do as great. And so, yeah, I'm really hoping, because growing pumpkins last year was like one of my greatest joys. So I'm very excited to see what can happen in this area. And then over here in my little wine barrel, I have 3 jalapeno peppers. I put some zinnias in here, and I threw in some basil. Last year I had 3 peppers in here and they didn't do great, and I think it's because I put a nasturtium here and it just took over. It just got so big, and so this year I did not put one in, and so I'm very excited to see how those do, and I want to nurture them. I know I've said this before, but I really struggle with peppers, and so these plants actually look really good, and I'm excited to see if I can get some good pepper harvest this year. And then around here I've got my little lavenders that I really need to get in here and just get all the grass out from underneath. But they look like they're thriving. Well, not fully, but that guy's kind of leaned over, and I think it is because of all the grass. So I want to get in here and get that cleaned up and make them look beautiful again. And then I have this clematis here that's about to bloom. I see blossoms or buds on them. Yeah. And then this is our like Franken tree. It used to be a lot taller, and then it started dying, and actually my husband, because something's been digging in it, he put this chicken wire over it. I don't know if you can see it, and there's a little hole in there. And so he put the chicken wire over it to prevent birds from nesting in it. And I don't know if it's gonna live, but we're letting it do its thing. It's already losing leaves, so but it gets leaves every year. So we're just going to let it go until he's ready to be done. So, and part of me kind of, I don't know, I got that new dogwood and I would love to put one right here, but I might have to find a different place for that. And then over here, he missed the beautiful light pink poppies, so I really need to get in there, and sometimes like to let them go a little longer because they spread their seeds a little bit and I get more beautiful poppies every year. But I need to get in there and clean it up. There's so much grass, and I know that's what I shared, like one of my projects that I would love to get done is just clean up this whole area and redo the path back there, but I haven't got around to it, and honestly I'm not sure I will this year either. And then over here, this patch, if you might remember, I've had issues with in the past, but this year it is thriving. And my sweet peas are out in force, and I have been harvesting these and putting them in the house. They smell so beautiful. I've been loving that. And then over here I've got more peppers. I believe these are all sweet banana, and let me see if oh yeah, this is an Anaheim chili. I think that's an Anaheim chili too. So 2 sweet banana and 2 Anaheim chili. There's a mustard plant that's holding on. This lacinato kale that's holding on. I might eventually just remove this to give them more room. There's a beefsteak tomato behind it. These beautiful snapdragons that overwintered for me, and then I planted a little basil plant here in the corner. And there's a zinnia there, a zinnia there. I had a bunch to throw in. And then these beautiful fennel, and it looks like this one might be ready, might be starting to go to flower. So I need to do a little more research, but they're looking really, I mean, they're not super big. I don't know if you can, there we go. You can see that one a little bit. But I think I might harvest some for a salad so I can use up my enormous amounts of lettuce. I have 2 gourd plants in here. This one's not looking super great, but this one's looking okay. I definitely need to get in here and water this evening. And then there's a cherry tomato plant here. You can't really see it amongst the sweet peas, and then the clematis behind. but he's doing really good. And then I put a pepper plant here. I put some more basil around. These are leeks. Beautiful butter crunch lettuce. And my own leeks that aren't doing great. There's some zinnias there. Yeah, this guy, he's looking really beautiful, and I'm so pleased. I'm still trying to work on the soil health in this bed. And then over here, I don't know, I've been watching for a while. You'll remember I tried to do a wildflower patch over here, and it was not a great success. I think I need to, so I want to build like a little, maybe a brick wall here. Not a big brick wall, like 2 bricks high, so that I can like kind of fill in a little more. This big tree like sucks all the nutrients out of this area, and so I want to like add some new soil here, but I've got some volunteer ones and they're beautiful. It looks like there's a white version and a beautiful red version here. I'm very excited about it, and I think this is a dandelion there, but that one looks like something else that's coming up. So very excited. But stay tuned. Maybe, I don't know, like it really dips down here because this is like a hill. It goes all the way there. And so I would love to like make this area a little nicer. I tried to plant a hosta over here. It died. So really, like, something needs to be done. These little irises, they really haven't done much. So again, I want to do a lot of research and see if I can get them to bloom. But this soil isn't the best. It's very compact, very dry, very sandy. So I'm gonna stay tuned and I'll see what I can do. But this lilac bush is huge. It needs to be trimmed back. I think we'll probably just take it off. It's like over the lawn pretty bad. So, and it makes it difficult to mow the lawn. The camellia bush back here had a lot of beautiful blooms on it. And then this wild area, as you can see, I need to do a bunch of weeding, but my beautiful hosta is getting its flowers. And then I'm not sure what this plant is, but it's beautiful too. It comes back every year. And then my gorgeous hydrangea. This year I need to really trim it back so it's not over the pathway. But look at how beautiful. They're gonna have purple petals, and so I definitely need to get in here and weed. Look at this guy, he's just coming up. And then these ones gonna blend in with this plant. But yeah, definitely have a lot of work to do back here, but I'll get to it when I get to it. But this guy, he's my pride and joy. I trimmed it a few years ago, and it's, paid me back a millionfold by how many blooms I get every year. So I'm very pleased with the work I've done for this hydrangea plant, or hydrangea bush. Now we're coming over to the patio. Excuse the mess. This is just real life. Here's another beautiful blueberry bush, and it looks like in the next few days we're going to have our first blueberries. I'm very excited. I'm keeping an eye on the birds so they don't grab those. But I've got my salvias really coming out. I want to harvest some, maybe for some cut flower arrangements. But unfortunately, this lupin really like shadows it when it first comes up, so I'm kind of regretting putting lupin in here, to be honest. And they've really had bad aphid problems with my lupin this year, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think next year I'll probably just dig them out. I planted some cosmos down here, and again I want to sprinkle some more seeds, a seed mix down here, and see what I can get to grow. I gotta get in here and weed all this clover out, but I have strawberries in here that have volunteered from runners, and so I'm just letting them go do their thing. We have beautiful flowering sage. I believe this is more lemon thyme with a little zinnia in there. See, as you can see, I've got more strawberry runners. I'm trying to get some of them to implant into this pot. I haven't had great success, but I think I need something to like pin it down, and we'll see if I can get him to stay there. I'll probably do that later. But we've got some really beautiful strawberries coming. I'm very excited for that. Echinacea's coming up. This is a volunteer Cosmo from last year. Beautiful California poppies throughout here. I planted peppers here. This one is Anaheim chili. That's a sweet banana. And then one over here is jalapeno with my oregano. I've got tons of beautiful oregano that is self-seeded. And I just let it go. Some of these are coming. I don't know if you can tell. They are coming into bloom here. Focus, focus. There we go. And I'll probably just let a few of these go because I love having all this beautiful oregano in here. And then my tarragon, this actually overwintered, this one. And then this one I planted this year. It's doing really great. And then I planted some more basil in pots here. And then this is mint. Don't want it to flower and go into that pot. And then there was beautiful red poppies and orange iris here. And I have to get in here and really clean up. And then I've got my peony that's done for the year, but I leave it until all the greens have died because then that gives energy to its root system and its bulbs for next year. Got a bunch of garlic chives that I want to get dehydrated. My beautiful little violas here. I just really like to encourage those to seed themselves wherever they want. California poppies, there's some zinnias down here. A Mexican sunflower, which I hope will take off soon. I've got a Cosmo in here, a lot more. There's a lot more California poppies here. There's a calendula here, which is great. And then there's a sunflower here that I planted. But yeah, it's looking wild and wonderful, except for I have to cut back all the poppies, which is fine. That doesn't take very long. But yeah, and then over here I've just got a few more peppers to plant. They're not looking great, so they really need to get into the ground. This one is, which one? Oh, this is an Anaheim chili. Looks like a sweet banana pepper here. This is my only cayenne that survived. He's looking very dwarfy and small. This one is bell pepper, and I believe that one's a bell pepper too. So you really need to get those in. And then these are more Anaheim chilies, and I'm pretty sure I'm just going to let them go. And then this is a jack-o'-lantern for our friend who's actually, with him and his family are in South Korea right now visiting family. So this is for them when they get back, or when he gets back. Should be back soon, so he can get it in the ground. And then this is my sad little station. I've got my Cinderella pumpkin has sprouted. This is a Casperita, and then I have two black cat pumpkins, extra black cat pumpkins. And then these I'm trying to get them to sprout. What do I have? Another fairy tale pumpkin, because I only have one plant over in my pumpkin patch. Another jack-o'-lantern, because one of my jack-o'-lantern plants does not look great. Another sugar pie pumpkin, because only one of those seeds sprouted over there. And then another black beauty zucchini, because I really only have one that's looking good. And I want at least 2 zucchini plants this year, so that's one thing that I did cut back on, is how many zucchinis I have, because I had so much last year and I like a lot of it went to waste. So just want to make sure that I'm avoiding that at all costs. But yeah, everything is looking wild and wonderful, and we're well and truly in summer now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of this garden this year and sharing with you all the things that I'm doing to preserve. And I have some canning books from my dad, so I'm really looking forward to diving into those and canning a bunch of tomatoes this year. And yeah, it's just like this season really is, it's one of my favorites in the garden, obviously, and it's just hard that he's not here. So I've been really missing sending him photos. So now I just send photos to my mom and my brother, and I send some to friends as well. So but yeah, looking lovely out here. All right, that's going to be it from me today. I hope that you enjoyed coming along on my garden tour, and I'm sorry I started the video off on a kind of a solemn note, but I feel like I wanted some of my thoughts on the death of both my grandpa and my dad on a YouTube video, and it really does help sometimes to like kind of get those feelings out. And I don't know, if you're here and you've been watching since I started posting videos, which has really not been that long, I just so appreciate you. And if you're new here, I would love it if you wanted to follow along and on more of my gardening adventures. And I'm hoping that this year will be the year that I'll feel comfortable enough sharing more of my like Halloween and Christmas decorating stuff. And because it's, especially for Halloween, it's one of my favorite things to do. And I do this series over on my blog called Blogtober, where I do one blog post every day for the month of October. It's one of my favorite things to do every year, and I just finished planning it, so there's lots of fun stuff coming. But yeah, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, as it really supports my channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't miss more of the garden and everything that goes along with it. I hope that you're having a great day wherever you are, and I will see you super soon. Bye.